He heard it all. Every whispered word, every cruel laugh, every venomous drop of betrayal leaking from the mouths of the two women he trusted most. They thought he was clueless, thought he was too predictable, too dumb to see. They were dead wrong. That night, Ethan Bell didn't scream, didn't burst into the brownstone, didn't smash a glass. He just turned and walked, vanished, erased himself from their lives. 5 years later, they still hadn't a clue where he went. They had no idea he watched from afar, saw their perfect lives crumble. They didn't know he was back, different. When she rang the bell of an unfamiliar Brooklyn address, it wouldn't even cross her mind that the man behind the door wasn't who she hoped to find, because that Ethan died that night, and whoever stood before her now she was about to discover. The digital clock on Ethan Bell's dashboard flashed 7:35 p.m. as he exited the FDR drive. His eyes burned from hours staring at screens. His shoulders ached from a day hunched over his desk. Fridays at the firm always dragged, but today he'd escaped before 8. A small victory. He twisted the air vent, fighting the humid New York air clinging to him. His dress shirt, damp with sweat, stuck to the leather seat. He shifted, seeking a moment of relief. Navigating the familiar streets of his childhood neighborhood in Brooklyn Heights, he loosened his tie, savoring the slight release. Coming here was unplanned. Sarah, his wife, had mentioned visiting his mother, Eleanor, and on impulse, Ethan had decided to join. Maybe grab dinner. His relationship with Eleanor was always strained, but for Sarah's sake, he tried. 10 years of marriage taught him compromise. At 36, his life was about stability, built on routine and trust. Yet sometimes he wondered if he'd become too predictable, too stale. The extra weight he'd gained felt like a visible sign of slow decline. The thought gnawed at him as he turned onto his parents' street. Nothing changed here. Manicured lawns, brick townhouses, window boxes overflowing, flags hanging limp in the still evening air. His father passed 3 years ago, but Eleanor kept everything exactly as it was. As his childhood home came into view, he eased off the gas. Eleanor's silver sedan sat in the driveway beside Sarah's white SUV. He should have felt reassured seeing them together, his wife and mother sharing a quiet evening. Instead, a strange unease settled in his chest. Instead of pulling into the driveway, he did what he always did and parked at the curb. Eleanor always insisted on keeping the driveway clear, just in case. Just a quick visit, he muttered, killing the engine. Stepping out, the humid night pressed in, crickets chirping, distant city sounds humming. The porch light was off. Odd. Eleanor was meticulous about that. Only a faint glow seeped from the kitchen window through sheer curtains. Ethan walked the familiar stone path, shoes crunching softly on gravel. Approaching the front door, voices drifted from the slightly ajar kitchen window. He hesitated over the doorbell. Avery and Eleanor. He recognized them instantly. Something about the hushed tone made him pause. Fingers curling from the bell, an instinct drew him to the window. Peering through the gap in the curtains, he saw them at the kitchen table. Sarah's back to him, dark hair cascading down her shoulders. Across from her, Eleanor cradled a wine glass, gesturing as she spoke. They were oblivious. "Ethan's really let himself go," Eleanor said lightly, amusement lacing her tone. "Must be difficult for you, dear." Ethan froze. The words stung but weren't new. Eleanor had a knack for pointing out his flaws. He'd learned to expect it. But nothing prepared him for what followed. "Have you thought about that man I mentioned?" Eleanor continued, swirling her wine. David? He's skilled. Just what a woman needs. The words hit like a punch, surreal, incomprehensible. He must have misheard. Yes, Mom. It was incredible, Sarah responded, voice soft, content. Deafening silence roared in Ethan's ears. The world tilted. Yes, Mom. It was incredible. The phrase looped in his mind, a slow-motion wreck. He couldn't look away. His wife, his mother, betrayal, absolute, a conspiracy that stole his breath. Tell me everything, Eleanor urged, leaning in. David said you two had quite the weekend while Ethan was at that conference in Chicago. Her voice dripped with delight. It was different, Sarah admitted, a smile in her voice. He knows exactly what he's doing. He makes me feel things Ethan never has. Eleanor chuckled, brittle and sharp. Not surprising. My son has never been adventurous. Like his father, reliable but painfully dull. It's not just that, Sarah confessed, words tumbling out. David pays attention. He notices things, and physically, there's no comparison. A pleased smile spread across Eleanor's face. I knew you two would click. Moment I met him at the charity gala, I had a feeling. I was nervous at first, Sarah admitted, but you were right. Ethan is always buried in work, barely notices when I'm gone. Men are oblivious creatures, Eleanor mused knowingly. Especially the Bell men. Richard never suspected a thing either. Ethan's stomach twisted. His father. Eleanor had done this before. Shouldn't have surprised him. Yet it did. Betrayal unfurling, layer by sickening layer. How long? Sarah's voice wavered. 25 years, Eleanor answered, without hesitation, no remorse. Different men, over time. Kept me sane in this marriage. Sarah hesitated, fingers tightening around her glass. I don't know if I could do something like that, Eleanor chuckled. Oh, sweetheart, David excites you now, but you and Ethan have 10 years. Marriage isn't a fairy tale, it evolves. Ethan provides stability, David gives you passion. No reason you can't have both. Sarah breathed slowly. I suppose that makes sense. And Ethan? Eleanor smirked. Oblivious. He's always lived in his own little bubble, trusts too easily. Ethan's fists clenched, nails digging into his palms. The sharp pain grounded him, kept him from bursting in. Rage demanded action, logic urged restraint. He took a measured breath, then another, stepping back. 1 step, 2, 3. He turned and walked, each movement controlled. By the time he reached his car, the conversation replayed, every word cutting deeper. He slid behind the wheel, dashboard glow illuminating the time, 7:52 p.m. 9 minutes. That's all it took for his life to shatter. He pulled away from the curb, unnerving precision. No dramatic exit, no screeching tires. Just the engine's quiet hum carrying him away from the 2 women who'd destroyed his trust. Shock faded, replaced by something colder, resolute. No confrontation. No satisfaction for them. He'd do what they thought impossible. Disappear. By the time he merged onto the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway, the plan solidified. The office was nearly empty, save for the night guard, who barely glanced up as Ethan swiped his access card. "Working late, Mr. Bell?" the guard asked absently. "Forgot something," Ethan replied, voice steady. Elevator ride to the 30th floor. Silent. Numbness fading, giving way to focus. Vindictive? Never saw himself that way, but never betrayed like this. His office, as he'd left it, neat, efficient, a mirror of his personality. Boring, Eleanor had teased. Dependable but unexciting. Her words stung anew as he powered on his computer. His gaze fell on the framed photo on his desk. Him and Sarah smiling in Cancun last year. How much of it was real? Was David already in the picture then? Jaw tightening, he turned the frame face down. Work. Finances first. Logging into their joint account, he transferred every cent to a new account. Years of savings, gone in moments. Hands steady, he confirmed. Retirement funds next. Early withdrawal penalties be damned. Emptied them. Investment portfolio, more complex, but one by one, he transferred ownership. 40 minutes passed. By 9:30 p.m., everything with his name attached was secure elsewhere. Only his share of the company remained. For that, he needed Mark. Mark Olson, his partner for 8 years. Built the firm together. If anyone deserved trust, it was Mark. He crafted the email carefully. Mark, effective immediately, I'm selling my shares. Handle paperwork. I won't be returning, but my lawyer will reach out next week with details. The firm is yours now. Ethan, finger hovered over send. Point of no return. Yes, Mom. It was incredible. He clicked send. Tranquility settled as he erased himself from company servers. Client files untouched. No destruction, just removal of his contributions. Notes, records, gone. Last file deleted, he placed his company ID on the desk. Rose. Night air felt different stepping outside. Checked his watch. 10:17 p.m. Sarah expected him home soon. She'd wait. She could have reached out. Phone showed 8 missed calls. 5 from Sarah, 3 from Eleanor. Voicemails lingered, ignored. Explanations, lies, irrelevant now. Instead of replying, he drove to an all-night electronics store in Midtown, paid cash for a new phone, activated a new number. Employee offered data transfer. Starting fresh, Ethan said, tone blank. By 11, he checked into a hotel near JFK, new contact info only. Bland room, impersonal, perfect. Laptop open, he dismantled his online presence. Social media, not disabled, erased. Email accounts, same fate. Cloud storage, essential files downloaded to encrypted drive, everything else wiped. Credit cards next. Hesitant bank rep asked, "Problem with your account, Mr. Bell?" "No problem," Ethan replied. "Switching banks." "Understand. Sorry to lose your business. Anything we can do?" "No, just close them." Ethan Bell ceased to exist. The man he was, dependable, ordinary, loving husband, dutiful son, dedicated employee, gone. In his place, someone colder, decisive, new laptop, booked one-way flight from JFK, departing 6:15 a.m., destination irrelevant, just far, assuring no one from his old life would ever find him. Packing few belongings, he let his mind drift to what he left behind. The apartment he and Sarah chose, the career he built, the life he'd trusted. Illusion. Lying on the stiff hotel mattress, he stared at the ceiling, sleepless, replaying their marriage. Signs. Moments. Sarah seemed distant, distracted, conveniently unavailable. Excuses he accepted. Blind. Eleanor's warnings echoed, unbearable clarity. Blind trust. Burned away. Alarm buzzed 4:30 a.m. Ethan was already awake. Showered, dressed, checked out. Night clerk barely acknowledged him. Pre-dawn silence pressed in as he drove to JFK. Rental car returned. He walked into the terminal. Life in a carry-on. Gate. Old phone vibrated. Sarah. Message preview. "Where are you?" Ethan powered down the phone, tossed it in a trash bin. Boarded. 5 years. Sarah and Eleanor searched. Missing persons report, police investigation, co-workers questioned, bank records scrutinized, credit card transactions tracked. Nothing. Ethan Bell vanished. Eleanor reached out to family, friends. Missing person flyers plastered across the city. Private investigator pursued every lead. Futile. Months later, detective's conclusion. He left on his own. Some people just disappear. Sarah refused to accept it. The Ethan she knew wouldn't abandon his life. Steady, predictable, even dull. But weeks became months, then years. Truth settled. Gone. David Vance, the bartender Eleanor introduced Sarah to, the man she betrayed Ethan with, had his own take. Couldn't handle it, David remarked one evening, 3 years after Ethan's disappearance. Some guys can't face the truth. Sarah nodded. David's words felt off. Ethan steady, yes, but weak? Never. What Sarah, Eleanor, and David didn't know, Ethan was never lost. He simply left them behind. For Sarah, first 6 months after Ethan's disappearance. Thrilling. 3 nights after he vanished, David moved in, takeout, wine, embrace that erased thoughts of her absent husband. Never asked where Ethan went, never pried, just filled the void. You're tense, David murmured weeks later. Get away. New Orleans weekend. Sarah didn't tell Eleanor. Didn't need to. Free. Intended to live accordingly. Freedom, she learned, had a cost, unforeseen. From distance, Ethan watched. 5 years changed him. Physical transformation. Soft frame replaced by lean muscle. Deeper change, too. Seattle life. Stark contrast to the one he'd left. Sparse apartment. Comfortable. Financial consulting. Steady. Low profile. To those around him, he was Thomas. Quiet. Unassuming. Seattle rain or shine, Ethan ran 5 miles along the waterfront every morning. Simple dinner each evening. Weekly check-in on his past, not nostalgia, calculated patience. Waiting. That night, kitchen table, laptop glowed. Untouched black coffee cooled. Social media post from David Vance caught his eye. Vegas, baby! 4th time's the charm! David grinning at roulette table, arm around a woman, not Sarah. Post, 3 days old. Ethan closed tab, opened email. Private investigator report awaited. Precise. Emotionless. Subject, D. Vance. Unemployed. 5th job lost in 18 months. Financial records, rising debt. Estimated gambling losses, $20,000 past 2 years. Subject, S. Bell. 1422, Willow Lane. Repeated late mortgage payments. Medical records accessed per request. Routine checkups only. Ethan sipped cold coffee. Typed brief reply. Continue surveillance. Updated bank records for E. Bell when available. Shut laptop. Stretched. Calendar. Wall. October 17th circled red. Date marked long ago. 3 weeks away. 5th anniversary. Window. Shimmering Seattle skyline. 5 years patience. 5 years planning. 5 years letting fate work, with occasional nudge from shadows. Phone vibrated. Text from Patricia, woman he'd been seeing. Sharp, independent, perceptive where Sarah pretended. Dinner tomorrow? Ethan replied. 7 p.m. I'll cook. Set phone down, gazed at city. Soon. Very soon. conclude what he started. Back in New York, Sarah's euphoria curdled. David's impulsiveness, once thrilling, now reckless. Weekend escapes, gambling sprees, passionate nights, drunken fights. Money, never a worry with Ethan, constant tension. 6 months in, illusion shattered. "You can't pay rent?" Sarah's voice, disbelief. Kitchen she shared with Ethan. David, unfazed, grabbed a beer. "Bad week at tables. Make it up next month." Arms folded. "Exactly what you said last month." Sip of beer, shrug. "Big deal. Savings, right?" Not the point. Frustration rising. "Agreed to split expenses." David's grin faltered. "Look, making a thing of this? Maybe crash at Esteban's for a few days?" "Maybe you should." He did. 3 weeks. Sarah wavered, fury and fear. Fear she'd made a mistake. Fear of ending up alone. David returned. Flowers, apologies, accepted too easily. 2 years after Ethan vanished, Sarah sat across from Eleanor. Same kitchen table where it began. Spot where Ethan overheard their betrayal. Neither knew. "Don't understand why you tolerate him," Eleanor said, stirring tea. Sharp, disapproving tone. David's supposed to be thrill, not burden. Sarah exhaled. "Not simple." "Yes, it is." Eleanor clinked spoon. "He's using you." Sarah's expression hardened. "Like you used Richard?" Irritation flickered across Eleanor's face. 25 years, she countered. Sarah met her gaze. "Different?" "How I kept control," Eleanor replied coolly. "Maintain dignity." Lips thinned. "You're letting him bleed you dry. I brought you together. Brief entanglement, darling. Not this mess." Careless wave. "Have some dignity." Words hung. Accusation. Sarah no response. Later. Bed alone. David out. She stared at ceiling. Where had her self-respect gone? Why, in quiet hours, did she reach for Ethan, grasp cold sheets? Cold. 3 years vanished. Something beneath her skin surfaced one morning. Ignored it at first. Fade. Didn't. 2 weeks. Call made. Diagnosis, Tuesday afternoon. Stage 3 breast cancer. Dr. Buford's voice, firm, gentle. Treatment immediately. Good news, caught it early. 5-year survival, about 72%. Sarah nodded, weight of numbers pressing. Chemo, surgery, radiation, distant echoes, mortality. Drove home in fog. Untamed lawn, peeling paint, neglect. Ethan never would have. David's motorcycle gone. Moved in 6 months prior, landlord issues. Inside, Sarah dialed Eleanor. "Can't talk now," Eleanor cut in. "Bidding club. Tomorrow." Tomorrow never came. Eleanor stopped answering. No explanation, no apology, silence. David returned 2 days later. Sarah told him everything. Diagnosis, treatment, fear, relentless cancer. "Cancer," he repeated, unreadable. "Jesus, Sarah, that's a lot." "Chemo next week," she explained. "Need a ride home. Won't be able to drive." David exhaled, hand through hair. "Next week? Houston thing. Job interview. Months to set up. Can't you push it back?" Leaned against counter, gaze fixed elsewhere. "What about your mother-in-law? Friend?" "Eleanor won't take calls. Friends." Sarah trailed off. Ethan's friends first. After he vanished, so did invitations. "Figure it out. David said, patting her shoulder, obligatory. You always do. First chemo, curled over toilet, purging. Second, hair fell out. Third, too weak to drive, neighbor's kindness. David stayed away more. This, too much, he admitted. Don't know how to handle it. Week later, gone. No goodbye, empty drawers. Sarah tried Eleanor again. Disconnected number. Bathroom floor, arms around toilet, clarity struck. No David's thrill, no Eleanor's approval. Neither mattered. What she needed was Ethan, steady presence she'd let go, 5 years earlier. Weight of loss, grasped now. Determined to find him. 3 months searching. Private investigator, money she didn't have, leveraged last of home equity. 5 years long time, he warned. People disappear, usually mean to stay that way. Just try, Sarah pleaded. 2 months later, call. Thomas J. Randall, Seattle, middle name Jared, age fits, no photo ID, could be him, could be dead end. Send address. Week later, Brooklyn apartment building, nondescript. Place no one noticed. Perfect for man who didn't want to be found. Hands trembled, pressed buzzer for 507. No response. Pressed again, fingertip lingering. Still nothing. He's usually home around 6. Voice chimed behind her. Neighbor unlocking entrance. Groceries. Thomas, right? Quiet type. Sarah nodded faintly. Wait inside, woman offered. Looks like rain. 5:42 p.m. Ethan stepped into lobby. Sarah sat near elevator, rehearsed words. Saw him. Every phrase disintegrated. Not the Ethan she knew. Softness replaced by sharp angles, lean muscle. Shorter hair, rigid stance, unfamiliar confidence. Eyes struck her most. Warmth gone, cold, distant, unreadable. He halted, expression blank. No recognition, no surprise. Ethan, Sarah murmured, rising, legs trembling. Silence. He watched her. Unreadable eyes. Can we talk? Voice fragile. Nothing. He pressed elevator button. Invitation? Dismissal? She followed. Elevator suffocating. Silence heavy. Unsaid words. Stole glances. Hardened version of loved man. Stranger wearing his face. Reached 5th floor. Ethan unlocked door. Stepped aside. Not invitation. She stepped in. Stark apartment. Sparse furniture. Neutral colors. Functional. Impersonal. Opposite of warm home they shared. How did you find me? He asked, closing door. Familiar voice. Edge. Private investigator, she admitted. Months. Not cheap. Ethan poured water, didn't offer her. Why are you here? Bluntness unsettled. Imagined versions. He'd ask questions, show surprise, sliver of love. Ethan, voice faltered. I needed to see you. For mistake. Terrible mistake. Words spilled out, raw. Never should have listened to Eleanor. David, mistake. Lost everything. And? He interrupted, blade-like voice. Sarah recoiled. Ethan would have listened. I have cancer, she whispered. Broken glass. Ethan's expression unchanged. We all die eventually. Indifference stole her breath, staggered back, wall for support. You don't mean that. I do. Tears blurred vision. What happened to you? This isn't you. Man you knew died 5 years ago, he said, blank voice. You and Eleanor killed him. Realization slapped her. You heard us. That night. I did. And you just left. No goodbye. Idea what that did to me? His gaze darkened. Idea what you did to me? Decade of marriage, 10 years trust. Find out my own mother arranged for my wife to be with someone else. Mistake. People make mistakes. Ethan set glass down. Finality. Forgetting anniversary mistake. Saying something angry mistake. What you did wasn't mistake. Series of decisions. Deliberate. Calculated. Repeated. Sarah collapsed. Choices crushing her. I'm sorry, she sobbed. So sorry, Ethan, please. I need you. He looked down, unmoved. No, you don't need me. You need who I used to be. Stability, security, comfort. Things you threw away. Not true, she pleaded. I love you. Always loved you. Love isn't deceitful. People falter, make errors. Implored, voice trembling. Even you, walking away instead of confronting us. That was misstep too. First time, Ethan's expression shifted. Dark flicker, anger. Avery shrank back. I didn't flee, he said, quiet menace. I made decision. Unlike you, I only strike at those who strike at me. What Sarah failed to grasp. Ethan never truly left. Watched from shadows. Tracked every move. Knew about illness long before she faced it. Test results, investigator. Knew David deserted her. Followed his trail. Vegas casinos to LA nightclubs. Back to Texas. New conquest. Knew Eleanor drowning in debt. Lifestyle crumbling after he severed accounts. Tipped off IRS about fraud. Ethan orchestrated their downfalls. Not direct force, but letting greed and betrayal lead to ruin. He hadn't given Sarah cancer. Hadn't forced David to leave. Hadn't made Eleanor ignore calls. Removed safety nets. Stepped aside, watched them collapse. Turning to window. Seattle skyline. Sarah wept behind him. Anguish stirred nothing. 5 years feeding betrayal. Burned away sympathy. Get up, he said finally, back turned. Sit like adult. With difficulty, Sarah rose, couch, tear-streaked face. Chemo stripped her. Thin frame, scalp hidden, scarf emphasizing pale skin. Want to understand what happened to me? Ethan asked, facing her. Sarah nodded. Yes. I woke up, he said flatly. Stopped believing in world as I wished it to be. Saw it for what it is. What does that mean? Means I've been watching you, Sarah. All of you. 5 years. Her eyes widened, face blanching. What? Saw you move David in, Ethan continued, blank voice. Watched you drain our money for his addictions. Saw Eleanor use you, discard you. How could you know all that? Voice wavered. Same way I knew exact moment diagnosed, Ethan replied coldly. Same way I knew when David walked out. Same way I know Eleanor's house sees next month. You've been spying on us. Observing, he corrected. Let justice take its course. Justice? She echoed, confused. What are you saying? Ethan leaned forward, unwavering stare. Wonder why David lost job at accounting firm 3 years ago? Sarah shook head slowly. Employer received anonymous package, creative bookkeeping, evidence, ghost of smirk. Or why mortgage payments spiked last year? Sarah frowned. Bank said terms adjustment. Eleanor's investments dried up overnight 2 years ago? Understanding dawned. Horror. You did this. Destroyed us. No, Ethan said evenly. Simply withdrew protection. Rest you did yourselves. That's cruel, she whispered. Not man I married. You're right. Level voice. Cold gaze. Man you married believed in loyalty, truth, believed his wife loved him, believed his mother, flaws and all, wanted best for him. That man died moment he stood in Eleanor's kitchen, heard you call another man amazing. Sarah flinched. Mistake, she murmured. Mistake you'd keep making if I hadn't walked. Ethan countered. How long would it have lasted, Sarah? Months? Years? Would you have left? Or stayed? Playing devoted wife? David on side? Don't know, she admitted, lowering gaze. Wasn't thinking. Eleanor made it seem acceptable, normal. And that makes it justifiable? No. Gaze met his. Nothing excuses what I did. But people change, Ethan. I've changed. Past few years, cancer, shown me what truly matters. What matters to you now, Ethan said icily, is you're alone, frightened, no one to catch you. That's not fair, Ethan raised eyebrow. Would you be here if David stayed? Body stronger? Choices hadn't unraveled everything? No answers, only silent regrets. I loved you once, Sarah. Ethan's voice quiet, no malice, no warmth. Resignation. That man is gone, he continued, finality. You killed him 5 years ago. Statement settled, stones sinking. Sarah's shoulders slumped. What now? She asked, unsure she wanted answer. Hope foolish. I loved you once, he repeated, quieter, unwavering. But that man doesn't exist anymore. Silence suffocating. Sarah's breath shuddered. Ethan, she pleaded, voice cracking. Please. Hand lifted, hesitant, bare, frail, trembling. I just need... Words caught, moment. His gaze flickered down, her hand. Memories lingered. How he held it, promised forever. How it fit in his, faced Eleanor's disapproval. Warmth against chest, quiet nights. Then, rejecting ghosts, he stepped back. You need me now, he murmured, sharp. Like I needed you that night. Avery. She saw it in his face before words. Realization. Ice in stomach. The night you laughed with my mother about cheating on me. Strangled sound escaped. Stared, horror widening eyes. Years, she'd questioned why he left without fight, explanations. Now she knew. Heard everything. Listened as she dismantled marriage, casual amusement. Never laughed, she croaked. Swear, never. Ethan's gaze unwavering. Heard smile in your voice when you called him amazing. Heard you tell my mother every detail, joke at my expense. Steady tone, absolute. What would you call that, if not laughing at me? No answer. Hand hovered uselessly. I trusted you, he said. Quieter, damning. Everything I was. You threw me away like I meant nothing. We can fix this, she whispered, raw voice. People make mistakes. Change. I've changed, Ethan. Cancer, losing everything, made me see what really matters. His expression unchanged. What matters to you is survival, he said flatly. Now you're alone, Sick. Remember man who'd stand by you? That's not fair. Ethan laughed, hollow. Fair? Was it fair when my own mother arranged for you to be with someone else? When you let him into our home, our bed? When you both assumed I was too stupid to ever find out? Sarah's hand dropped, defeated. No, she admitted. None of it was fair. Life isn't fair, Ethan said. Learned that 5 years ago. Turned away, window. City sprawled, glowing, endless. Stared out, searching answer she'd never understand. Now you know what it feels like, he murmured. To be discarded. Sarah struggled to feet, body betraying her, wavered, stepped closer. Don't leave me alone, she begged. Doctors say chance, but treatment. Voice broke. Can't do this by myself. First time, something flickered in Ethan's eyes. Not kindness, sympathy, recognition. He'd suffered alone, too. Yes, you can, he said. Stronger than you think. Never had to find out before. What if I'm not? Whisper. Then you'll fail, he replied. Way I should have failed 5 years ago. Turned to door, but I didn't. Rebuilt my life. If I could, so can you. Ethan, please. But he was opening door. Gesture clear. Conversation over. Past over. Goodbye, Sarah. She stood motionless, finality crushing her. Long moment, forced herself to move. Stepping through doorway, hesitated. Waiting. Ethan never looked back. I'm sorry for everything, she murmured. Ethan silent. Observed her step into hallway, spine straight despite weight. No matter hardships, Sarah Bell refused to break. Walked to elevator, deliberate steps. Reaching it, his voice cut stillness. Sarah! She hesitated, turning back, hope flickering. Fight the cancer, he said. Live your life, but not with me. Shut door, no chance to reply. Ethan stood, fingers gripping knob, listening. Footsteps faded, elevator chime, mechanical descent. Only then did he exhale. 5 years waiting, strategizing, preparing, led to this. Imagined it differently. Triumph? Vindication? Felt neither. Regret? Relief? Hollow absence? Shaking head? Kitchen? Filled water glass? Phone buzzed. Patricia. Still good for dinner tomorrow? Reply immediate. Yes. 7 p.m. Your place. Moving forward. Real victory. Not confrontation. Retribution. But knowing he'd built something beyond ruins. Glanced at closed door. Chapter finished. Permanently. 2 weeks later, Ethan at desk, numbers flashing. Rain drumming window, familiar, comforting. Numbers. Refuge. Consistent. Honest. Incapable of deception. Phone ring shattered quiet. Assistant's voice. Speaker. Mr. Bell. Line 1. Urgent call. Wouldn't give name. Family emergency. Ethan stilled. Only one person. Thank you, Lisa. Put it through. Picked up receiver, silent. Ethan, you there? Eleanor's voice, line, tense. I'm here, he said, tone blank. Oh, thank God. Relief flooded her. Been trying to reach you weeks. Sarah confessed, found you in Seattle. Why didn't you tell me you were alive? Idea what you've put me through? His grip tightened. Of course. Your first concern, yourself. What do you want, Eleanor? Want to see my son, she said, voice softening, pleading. Mistakes, awful mistakes, but I'm still your mother. Being blood-related doesn't entitle you to place in my life, he replied evenly. Gave that up 5 years ago. Ethan, I know you're angry about Sarah, David, she continued, desperation. But I was only trying to help. Marriage stale. Thought excitement might be good for both. He shut eyes. Rage. When he spoke, eerily calm. You encouraged my wife to cheat. Laughed about it in your kitchen. You call that help? Wasn't like that, she protested. Twisting things, worse than they were. Outside your window that night, Ethan said, steel voice. Heard everything. Silence, barely audible. Oh. Yes, he said coldly. Oh, Ethan, I didn't mean... Yes, you did, he interrupted. Meant every word. Assumed I'd never find out, like Dad never found out about 25 years of affairs. Silence. Then small voice. How do you know about that? Heard you tell Sarah that night, too? Ethan, listen. Tone shifted, authoritative. What's done? Done. Move forward. Trouble. Need your help. What kind of trouble? Pause. Quieter. Financial. Humiliating. Foreclosure on house. Investments tanked. Can't make payments. Need money, Ethan. Just until I get back on feet. Leaning back, rain-slicked skyline. Irony poetic. Eleanor wielded security, begging for it. No. Words steady, immovable. No? Eleanor repeated, disbelief. Just like that? I'm your mother. Were? Ethan corrected, blank voice. Raised me, provided, everything but truth, then took away only thing mattered. Ethan, this isn't just broken trust. You're right. It's about home, he shot back. House I grew up in, where you lied to Dad 25 years. Place you dismantled my marriage. That home. You can't be this cold, Eleanor implored. Not my son, his expression unwavering. Son you knew ceased to exist 5 years ago. Same words to Sarah. You and Sarah made sure of that. Ethan, please. Goodbye, Eleanor. Receiver, deliberate finality, cutting off plea. Sat still, no guilt, regret. Only resolute finality. Door closed. Chapter finished. Phone buzzed. Eleanor, personal number. Declined. Seconds later, voicemail. Pressed play, against better judgment. Ethan, sweetheart, your mother needs you. Voice thick, manipulation. I made mistakes, but... Deleted message. No interest in justifications. Gave Eleanor what she deserved. Abandonment. Weak. Calls persisted. New numbers. Unpredictable hours. Blocked them one by one. Silence replaced onslaught. Triumph. 7 days after Eleanor's first call, email, private investigator. Brief message, E. Randall evicted 1422 Oak Lane this morning. Property foreclosed. Photos attached. Clicked images. Childhood home. Front yard littered. Eleanor's possessions piled. Neighbors murmured. Curiosity, indifference. Locksmith changing locks. Final photo, most revealing. Eleanor, hollow-eyed, bench across street, staring at house she no longer owned. Fleeting moment, something stirred. Echo of bond. Then remembered her voice. My son never had much imagination, dependable but dull. Feeling vanished. Closed email, back to work. Screen filled with numbers. Logical, predictable, untouched by deception. Outside, rain drumming, washing past away. Friday evening, powered down computer, precisely 6:00. Seattle rain, crisp autumn evening, city etched darkening sky. Drove home, long shower, dark jeans, charcoal sweater, clothes chosen without thought. 5 years ago, scrutinized reflection, fixated on weight. Now lean, disciplined, dressed with quiet confidence. 7:30 p.m., pulled into driveway. Modest craftsman, quiet neighborhood, north of city. Warm light windows. Not just house, home. Door swung open before he knocked. Patricia smiling. Genuine smile. Punctual as always, she teased, stepping aside. Some habits worth keeping, Ethan replied. Wine bottle. Patricia, nothing like Sarah. Sarah turned heads. Patricia's beauty, quieter, enduring. Dark hair, sharp features, quiet strength. Purposeful, efficient. Graphic designer, clarity in life, work. Met 6 months ago, coffee shop. Reports, logo designs. Tables adjacent, coffee spill, nearly ruined her work. Braced for frustration. Sigh, amusement. If spilled on designs, universe favor, she quipped, napkin. Client demands pizzazz. No idea what it means. Fairly certain not delivering. Honesty disarmed him. Lack of pretense drew him in. Numbers exchanged. Dinner. Something solid. Real. Unlike marriage to Sarah, youthful idealism shattered by deception. Patricia. Clarity. No illusions, empty promises. 2 people seeing each other truly. Now kitchen? Ethan watched her. Ease, final touches dinner. Quiet normalcy. He'd come so far. Patricia glanced at Ethan, stirring pot. Quiet tonight. Hesitated, searching words. How to explain. Severed lost ties to past. Confronted Sarah. Eleanor. Walked away. Felt nothing. Important day, he said at last. Not bad. Significant. Patricia arched eyebrow. Sounds like story. Really isn't, he replied. If anything, weight lifted. Closing chapter? She asked, neutral voice. Knew enough of past. Betrayal. Reinvention. Unspoken choice. Ethan nodded. Tracked me down. Seattle. Think she wanted something. Closure? Forgiveness? And did you give her that? Patricia's tone. Curiosity. No, he answered simply. Some things belong in past. Studied him, small nod. Accepting answer. Respecting boundaries. Not every wound reopened. Glad it's over, she said, stove. Dinner almost done. Pour wine. Ethan reached for bottle, uncorked, filled glasses, fingers brushed. Brief, fleeting, holding more meaning than desperate embraces with Sarah. Dinner. Ordinary things. Design project, new client. Book, they both read. No games, hidden agendas. Honest conversation. Later, couch, coffee, soft TV hum. Calm he hadn't known in years. Patricia leaned against him, effortless presence. Then, silence broken. Married once. Did I tell you? Ethan turned. No. Surprised. Never did. Slow sip coffee. Didn't last long, 3 years. Not terrible person, just not who I thought. Or maybe saw only what I wanted. What happened? Ethan asked. Patricia exhaled, quiet laugh. Classic betrayal. Came home early, found him with best friend. Cliché, almost laughed. Ethan tightened arm. Sorry. Don't be, she said, knowing smile. Long time ago. Point is, know what it's like. Closed door completely. Changed by betrayal. More careful. Measured. Some call that cynical, Ethan mused. Maybe, Patricia conceded. But I think of it as clarity. Don't fool myself with illusions anymore. See people for who they are. Ethan met her gaze. How do you see me? Studied him. See man who rebuilt himself. Broken. Someone who doesn't offer empty words. Values honesty over comfort. See you, Ethan. Exactly as you are. And I like what I see. Words struck deep. Something he thought lost. Not blind trust. Steadier. Willingness to be seen by someone who earned right. I like what I see too, he said quietly. Patricia smiled, leaning back, settling into moment. Silence. Not empty. Full. Both learned. Through pain, real connection wasn't grand gestures. Quiet moments. Knowing. Being known. Outside, Seattle's sky darkened, stars appearing. Inside, warm lamp glow. Ethan poured coffee, stretched out, looked toward future. Passed behind him, door firmly closed. Nothing to look back on. Our story ends. Betrayal always feels distant. Happens to others. Starts small compromises. Lie for convenience. Affair justified by boredom. Betrayal disguised as new experiences. Then one day, wake up, realize destroyed everything mattered. Ethan believed in love, trust, family, stabbed in back. Instead of revenge, chose disappearance. Didn't beg, fight, lash out. Let betrayers drown in choices. Story isn't just infidelity. Reminder actions have consequences. Lies, betrayal, steps toward fall can't undo. Respect, honesty, loyalty. Only things make us truly strong. What do you think of story? Anything like this ever happen to you? Share thoughts in comments. If enjoyed way I tell stories, check out channel, other videos. May force be with you. See you soon.